I welcome every one of us to this conference, the 49th conference of AGM of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. So, like this saying that we normally say that the science of food, I don't know if anyone knows this. If you know the science of food is what? It's the science of survival. The science of food is the science of survival. So we thought this evening we have Dr. Silvanus. He's also a minister, he's an entrepreneur. He's Dr. Silvanus. He's a facilitator. He's a guru. He gives you this kind of training. We had it last year in Kano. And here we are again, offering it free of charge for Nifst. But the certificate is attached with payment. So if you are interested in getting the certificate for this training, it's 5,000 naira. So kindly do well by writing down your name with the people at the registration stand right inside the hall. God bless you. The theme for this conference is Next Generation Food Science and Technology Solutions for Nation People. And the theme for this topic, converting our technical skills as lifters, converting our technical skills to commercial value for global impact. So I want you to listen attentively so that you pick one or two things from this training, and it should be good for every one of us to listen attentively. So that this will not just come to conference or we come for this training just like that without being imparted. So I want to introduce to the podium now the facilitator for today, Dr. Silvanus. You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, professional colleagues. A warm pleasure standing before you. We as food science and technologists are in a dilemma. A dilemma in the sense that we've gone to school, depending on which school we went to, spend 4 years or spend 5 years reading science and technology of food. We come out, instead of us being employers of labor, we are looking for employment opportunities. Whereas hidden in each and every one of us is a potential employer. I don't know which one you attended to, or you see food science and technology covers virtually every area, from agricultural processing, chemical processing, dairy, seeds, and everything that you can think about. We go to school and we study this thing. We don't come out as it were practicing it. We also have the disadvantage of the fact that it is only in Nigeria you have computer students who will study computer without a computer. So we are also food scientists and food technologists who have not actually gone through a food science lab. So most of the things we do are theory. You know, it breaks my heart. And that's why I said, at every of this conference, I will be doing this so that the mistake we make as elders in the profession, you all come in once who make it. So those students who are studying now will not make the same mistake. If you look at the economy of US, for instance, 65% comes from every area of food science and technology. They are into farming, they are into processing and all the rest. But here we are the lowest level. And I've also had to interact with some of our elders, professors, doctors. They read, have PhD in food science and tech. They look for employment. Outside retirement, that is the sad story of it. There is nowhere to go to. But it should not be so. So converting technical skills into commercial value for global impact. In other words, if you have gone to school like most of us have done, the training that you have had is enough to see you through in life. It's enough to see you through in life. I'll give you an instance. Food science is so broad that you become almost an all-rounder. You are studying food science, you will do mechanical engineering, yes or yes. You will do technical drawing, yes or yes. So, in our time, I was wondering what concerns me with drawing and all the rest. Until I came out and I started consulting for people. And now realize that you cannot move an inch if you don't have some element of engineering. Food economics, work economics is critical. So, we must take a new look. Next slide, please. I give you an instance. After the first degree in food science and tech, I believe that I've had enough to take me anywhere I can go to. So for my master's, I did business administration. For my doctorate, I did change management and leadership. Praise God. Sorry, I'm not in the church. So today, I use my technical skills in food science and technology to do consultancy services. My change management and my masters, you know, MBA they make you go through every aspect of business. I'm also into consulting. Today, I have 2 books on Amazon and Kindle. One of them is what you see there, thriving as an entrepreneur, navigating challenges and unleashing your potential. It's all about entrepreneurship. I have the second book on leadership. And what is it about? You know, surviving in disruption using your leadership skills. They are all in Amazon, they are in Kindle, they are in Seller. So what have I done? I have simply maximized the skills that I have. And the rest of it is not different from the skills you have. I am having it in the market and I get paid for it. For instance, the entrepreneurship is $15 on Amazon. So that's just by the way. Next slide. I say skills in food science and technology are powerful. Skills like we all do, we can have PhD, master's degree, it is powerful. But entrepreneurial thinking makes them valuable, profitable, and of global impact. In other words, after your first degree, your second degree, or even your PhD in food science and technology, the skills you have acquired, they are very powerful. You can stand before your professional mechanical engineers, medical doctors, and you talk authoritatively. Very good. But we are in a nation that is struggling for survival. We are in a nation that needs you and me. We say the science of food is what? Are we surviving? Are we not going through turmoil? So if your science of food does not help in the survival of this nation, how relevant is it? So I said it is good for you to have the skills in food science and technology. Powerful. But entrepreneurial thinking makes them valuable, profitable, and of global impact. As I said, Nigeria has a growing and increasingly recognized base of technical expertise in food science and technology. Some of us here and our elders who are here, they've attended the international food science and technology at the world level, at the highest level. Some of them are even fellows. So it's not like we have gurus like Professor Ngodi, under which some of us grew up. So many people. But the question is, how relevant has that science and technology theoretically applied practically? How
far has it applied as into entrepreneurship to create value? With all due respect to the professors and the doctors, there are so many researches here and there. Where are they? They are gathering dust somewhere. You know, one of our, I always use him as an example, one of our oldest professional, Professor John Igene, I don't know how many of us know him. He was my brother to the University of Food Science and Technology, Maiduguri. He came into Uniben, set it up. But at the time, by the time this man retired, with all his knowledge, he was fighting for survival. You know, one talk here and there. Today, the man is exporting palm oil and is earning in dollars. I'm talking to you that it's in UK. This time last year, he was with us in Kano. He never realized his full potential as a professor until he went into entrepreneurship. I don't want the younger generation to get to that point. I said Nigeria has a growing and increasingly recognized base of technical expertise in science and technology, driven by its academic institutions such as UN, Federal University of Agriculture, research bodies such as FIRO, raw material research, NAFDAC, and a line of diverse economy. Problem. Skills often remain in laboratories, classrooms, or pilot plants without transitioning into commercial solutions. Bridging this gap can drive economic growth, job creation, and global competitiveness. Wisdom is the application of our knowledge to solve our problems and challenges. Food science and technology is only relevant so far as it solves our current food security challenges. Don't give it down. PhD, whatever it is. You see, we say food science is the science of survival. If your degree is not relevant to the economy of Nigeria today, in most cases, it's not even relevant into the economy of our pocket. With all due respect, how much are professors earning? How much are doctors earning? Do you understand? But meanwhile, the skills are there, the potentials are there. We must learn to convert. We must learn to convert. Global context. What's moving the needle? What's moving the needle? Who moved the cheese? Who is changing the world? Who is transforming the world? Who is making the impact? Global food industry projected to grow beyond $10 trillion by 2030. But global impact requires the following. And that's the FAO and the World Health of Statistics that by year 2030, which is barely 5 years away, that the food industry will be worth $10 trillion. What's our contribution to that? I said, for global impact requires the following. For us to make a global impact, in fact, we'll be talking of local impact. Local impact. Global impact requires the following. Scale up of alternative protein and precision fermentation. Fermentation of derived proteins, enzymes, fat, and meat from dairy alternatives. You see, the world has gone so far ahead of us that we're beginning to think of alternatives to almost everything. You hear that the United Nations is giving aid to Sudan. They are giving aid to any other country, who is suffering malnutrition. Do you imagine that what they are doing is exporting bulk meat, cattle meat to those nations? No, because the people those people in Sudan or all those war torn do not even have fridges or refrigerators to store the food. What do? There are derivatives of meat now. There are meat-like products that food scientists have degenerated. How many of us know that of all the animal plant and plant protein, soya has the highest value? How many of us know? That soya is what is grown massively in Nigeria here. So what UN will do, for instance, they will simply ask for people who will convert this soya into texturized vegetable protein, which is a form of dehydrated soya bean. And they package it in bags. It's dry enough, and they send it to those places. Many of us, at least by now, we know. Nobody, when they talk of milk now, you now have non-dairy cream. Is it not so? So there are potentials, opportunities for us as food science and technology. And these are things we are reading theoretically. We need to be able to translate them into practice. Digitalization and traceability across supply chains. You see, that's one thing that makes me happy. And I'm proud of my next role at CBA Food Science and Technologies. You will ask me, how does food technology concern digitalization? We have a major problem in Nigeria. How many of us have heard of what you call from boom to bust? You know, when any crop in Nigeria is in season, tomato, pineapple, mango, and all the rest, our yield is high. And unfortunately, you know that, in the Nigerian environment, what we are doing is seasonal farming. So, the question now is, the man in Maiduguri, the man in Jos, the man in Sokoto who is farming, has no direct contact, of the man who needs it in Lagos, the man who needs it in Port Harcourt. Do you understand? So it is an opportunity for food science and technology to create a digital economy based on supply and demand, availability, production, and who needs it. Are we listening? You see, one of these guys, I won't call his name, and I'm not advertising for him, but let me just summarize Money Point. What Money Point simply did, as a technical guru, having worked for several consultants to several banks, and unfortunately one of the banks was going to close down. All he did was say, I have done apps for these people that they have used in the banking world. His digital skill was what he converted to create what we call the banking without a banking hall. Banking without a banking hall. And that's what your Money Point, that's what your OP has become. That guy is just 40 years. Maybe going to 41 now. And he was assessed by the world that he's worth over $100 million in a twinkle of an eye. So you will say that is banking, but I'm giving you a link now. And I also mentioned about traceability. Traceability. How many of us see, for instance, if you buy a drug now, they will tell you that it's a place for you to scratch to confirm whether that drug is genuine and original. Why can't food science and technology, apply this? Help our farmers, help our manufacturing industries to introduce it. Create a digital economy to guarantee food safety and food production, and you'll be making your money. As they reduce food fraud, improve traceability, market accessibility to small farmers. That is what, if you are able to digitalize food technology, that is what it will do. In the first place, the man who is producing knows who needs it, and through internet, that's what all the Jumia and all the Jobaman and all the, what they have used to is to utilize their technology. They have created an application where everybody who needs job can apply to, and every recruiter who wants to recruit can reach out to a meeting point. Food waste variation and circular economy. Waste to ingredients, animal feed, boom to bust, and now waste to waste. What am I saying? While we are trying, that in Nigeria we are not producing enough. The sad news is that sometimes there are some products, those perishable, that you lose between 40 to 45% of it. Boom to bust. From boom you are harvesting, and nobody processes it. You see them load tomatoes, 30 tons. From where? Down south. It will spend 4 days in transit. And by the time it gets to Lagos, in fact, from the Maiduguri, from the Jos, it will start painting the road with tomato, because 60% of it at the bottom are pressed and it loses its value. Apart from the heat and all the rest, the deterioration takes place. So why can't food science and technology design cold storage, design cold trucks, and begin to give this out to farmers? Sell to farmers, they buy. So you palletize it. You see, those days our warehouses were just, jam-packed. But somebody simply brought the technology of palletizing it, doing cabinet and frame it, so that one, there is free flow, and also no item is standing on or is being stacked on top of the other to destroy it. This is technology. So what are we doing in food science and technology to minimize this waste? Bad enough, we are saying our agricultural yield is low, but the sad thing is that even from what is produced, sometimes we use over 50% of it. In school, we read about nitrogen and all forms of gas preservation. Hello? Should somebody not think of how to use that nitrogen to preserve these fresh fruits and vegetables? Should somebody not think about it? For fruits, we have a situation where we allow our locals to ripen our banana and mango with carbide, which we know is dangerous. Why? You blame them. Because we, the producers, the agriculturists, the food science and technology, have not found a way of getting a matured plantain, a matured mango to the consumer in a fresh state. Logistics are not there. The cold chain is not there. So what will they do? Once they get it raw, why would they wait? Because if they don't sell it, they will not make money out of it. So whatever way they want to quicken it, they quicken the process. I'm saying that is an opportunity for all of us to think about. Nutrition, focus, production, innovation. Functional food, fortified food, affordable food to address malnutrition. How many of us have had, I know there are nutritionists, there are food technologists here, some severe acute malnutrition that is currently claiming that it is as at July record that about 33 million Nigerians are under severe acute malnutrition. It's bad enough you don't have enough to eat. Even when you get to eat, it's not nutritionally balanced. So it is your place. It is in my place. Sometimes last year I was somewhere in Asaba, Delta State, and the complaint was that women, either nursing children or prenatal, are suffering from deficient food. so that even when they give birth to these children, they are not healthy children. And what they do, they will still feed them with the local cereal and all the rest. In the first place, bad enough, a pregnant woman is only going to the balanced diet. So you give birth to a deficient child. The child comes out, is being fed with food that doesn't not balance. Food scientists and technologies. All you need is introduce your element of your soya milk in a dry food into your ogi. Introduce it to custard. Introduce it even to their cereals. We can even tropicalize it. What is the local food that you have in your locality? If it is cassava, you can enrich cassava. Also, how many of us have heard of this word MIN? Years ago, when pregnant women go to the clinic in Nigeria, what they give them is iron and folic acid. Hello? But the world has gone to a place where they have MINs, they have compounded 15 micronutrients, essential micronutrients that are available. I once challenged the Lagos State government, Commissioner for Health and Health, in a seminar at Challenge. And believe you me, we went to Google and they found out what I was saying is true. But I'm glad to say that in the last 1 or 2 years, they have also introduced it to the hospitals now. So that it is not only folic and iron that they give. They give that micronutrients that contains every of the essential things. So that as the woman takes it, the woman will not be low in blood pressure. The child will not be deficient of, he will not be anemic when he's born.
So there are opportunities for fortified food that we can think about. Policy, public-private partnership shifting funding priorities. This is our biggest problem. Government, multinational agencies, private investors, public laboratories, regulation that speed up approval. There is no signage, there is no linking, even between us as food science and technologies. You hear nutrition, they claim their own. We claim our own. There is no link. Meanwhile, while you are reading your food science and tech, you read part of nutrition. So you are brothers and sisters. I'm starting from there. Before you start talking of the larger outer picture, when you talk of government, the research institutes, there is no linkage. Can somebody ask ourselves, all the projects that we do in school, all the projects we do in school in our final year, which one have we, as it were, converted to either environment or scale it up to, commercial value? Has it ever happened? Is it that our projects are not good enough? They don't pass the test of time? They do. But we allow that skill die there. Guys, we need to put commercial value into what we learn. And if I talk to our young graduates, that project that you did successfully and defended successfully, God is having you to go into the world. And he said, whatever he lays in your hands will prosper. So why don't you attempt to go and do it? You know our problem as professionals? When we are talking of food processing, we are thinking of the Wambu, we are thinking of the IBM, we are thinking of the Nifst foods, we are thinking of the Coca-Cola. What has saved the world? In everywhere you go to, if you go to India, you go to China, you go to Italy, you go to Japan, it is cottage industries. In fact, most 80% of businesses are family businesses. Mother, child, father, son, and they hand it over. They keep changing it and moving on to this one. So why can't you also think of that science that you know, that technique that you have, that
skills that you think you have a trade on, why don't you push it a little bit further? Put commercial value to it. You know, it is explained that wealth is created not from the first generation but until the third generation. That's why we are where we are now. Think of Nigeria. How many generations, how many people have been able to transit, entrepreneurship, businesses to the next generation and to the next generation. So until we are able, Papa, do this business. Hand over to the son. Son, do and hand over to the next one. That is when we work. So some of us could be, we are test animals to test entrepreneurship and to test, wealth creation. So you may not be a millionaire by that business, but definitely you will survive. Your son or your daughter who will take over from you, will have a place to take over from. And he will use his own knowledge and his own technology and advancement to enhance it further, to grow gradually. Mercedes is the name of investment. Coke, we all know, is the name of investment. Do you understand? So we have to start somewhere, no matter how small. Then, either we are able to scale it up, or our next generation will scale it up. But to refuse to start because we want to be like them is a wrong approach. Turning trends to impact. What am I saying? What are the current trends? Full science and then what are the trends that are valuable to us? Now we can turn trends into making impact. Pilot precision fermentation plant means ingredient and measure as a university's research hubs take up locally relevant ingredients, starter culture, enzymes, proteins, and yeast for fermented food products. I'm giving you an example. How many of us have seen that one by good? What have they simply done? Trends are changing. Ajinomoto came in with that Ajinomoto, and they had a lot of backlash here and there. But what have they done? They have simply got a couple of food science and technologies, and they look around and say, what can we do with what is local? These people are saying that we are bringing these chemicals from Japan to come and clean them here in Nigeria. So they went into our local scheme. It is Nigerian food science and technology guys, I know a couple of them, who are studying the process of fermentation, and they have converted Dadawa into a stable spice that is beginning to gain market. So it is our responsibility. You see, every problem, every existing problem is an opportunity for somebody to move forward. If there are no challenges, heroes will not come. So we must look inwards. We must look inwards. And you don't have to start looking at that your local government level. Let me give you an example, because this is what I preach on a daily basis. We were hearing, when we were growing up, when we hear of Ethiopia, we hear of Sudan, we identify them with big heads. Yes or yes? We say they have big heads, they are marasmus, they are nutritionally deficient. Is it not so? But the good news is that today, Ethiopia, Sudan, Rwanda, these are people who have invested in food processing. These are people who have gathered their food science and technologies together, and they have created hubs. A hub, for instance, if in a particular locality, what they are doing here, they are farming on tomato. They will give you a child. Go and develop a technology that will preserve that tomato. Process that tomato, and you know what? They will pay subsidy to the government. The government will pay subsidy to the farmers, and assure them that whatever is produced, they will buy all of it. In Ethiopia, in India, what they call it MSP, minimum sellable price. In other words, at the beginning of the year, they will decide that for tomatoes, we are going to buy a ton for so price. So irrespective of what happens, the farmer is guaranteed that that tomato will be taken off him. And what do? They lift it off from the farmers, take it to the hubs where you have food science and technologies doing all their science there, preserving them, and you will keep them. What happens is that during the time of scarcity, government intends now sell it back. You know, I tell people it's the Joseph principle in the Bible. You know, 7 years of famine and 7 years of abundance. So in the 7 years of abundance, he was storing and storing. That system is being used now in Ethiopia, it's being used in Sudan, it's being used in Rwanda, it's being used in China to make, you know, food from in India for instance, even fresh vegetables. You know that they like all this green.
A day, 450 cartons a day. In 3 months, nobody told him that there is need for another plant. Today, I can't tell you the tonnage he's doing. So, is it doable in Nigeria? Yes. I will give you the third example. Queen's Mill Bakery. Queen's Mill Bakery read English language education. She was a teacher. But went into bakery industry. Today, is the biggest bakery. He has overtaken all the Leventis, all the whatever name you call them. Have 6 factories in Nigeria producing tonnage, to the point that she has gone to a level where flour mill director will come and visit her and say, what can we do? You are a very successful business person. I will give you distributorship, give you cars, give you everything in a different feed. She read English language. So that's why I said our technical skills is powerful. But it is when we are able to convert the technical skills into commercial value, it will be profitable and we can make a global impact. Next slide. Okay, I put in there, I said, note, where skills meet business acumen, industries grow. Where your skills, the technical skills you have, meet with commercial, entrepreneurial acumen, industry blossom. But we sit down all the time on our technical skills. We sit down on it. Pathway to commercial value. Industry academia partnership, joint ventures, applied research hubs. Let us, I'm sorry to say, but I will still say it. Any knowledge that we have, you know, I always refer to the Bible, you know, wisdom is the application of the knowledge that you have. Is it not so? I put it this way, food science and technologies. Your skills, your knowledge is an existential knowledge. In other words, existential in the sense that it should solve the problem of today. Why would I be doing a research on ozone layer in the moon when right here on Earth I am not relevant? Hello? So our technical skills must be, you know, focused and localized to our environment to solve the problem. I expect that when somebody from Kano here leaves this place, he must go back and think of all the spices that are available, the pepper, the garlic, and all of them, and how he or she can grind them and blend them in a certain ratio and begin to sell as pepper soup spice, as this spice. I know we're doing it. If you do it, I'm doing it already. Think of how to commercialize, because we have said the pathway is your technical skill, innovate, commercialize, and you make a global impact. We follow that path. Incubators and accelerators. Incubators and accelerators support startups with funding and mentoring. Support startup. I am challenging Nifst as a chartered institute today that they must think beyond this annual conference and maybe have an academy, have a training institute or a place, maybe even set up a hub where the young graduates can come out and have some industrial experience. We mentor them. What they have read in school, let there be a place that they can put it into practice and release them. Do that, you begin to create hubs. A tomato hub, a potato hub, sugarcane hub, cassava hub. That's the way to develop. That's the way to make impact. Regulatory support. I just put this slowly. Faster approvals. Incentives for innovators. When we see small-scale industries, SMEs coming to apply, let us facilitate them. Let's not ask them for heaven and earth. Let us not ask them for heaven and let us encourage them. In civilized world, what the world is doing now is that hubs are created. In other words, you don't need to buy your generator. You don't need to provide your electricity. All you need is that is a location where you can come in. There are even, facilities where you can come in and do your production at the lowest cost. So you don't need to raise the money to build a factory to be a manufacturer. Hello? Standardization and certification. You cannot make any global impact if you can't standardize and get certified. That's why no matter how bad NAFDAC day, we still need them. SON, we still need them. But we are begging them to come with a human face. And look at us with some incentives. Because the truth is that people will always look at your product. Is it NAFDAC certified? Or is this... so, that their trademark is like a stamp of authority. So we need them. No matter how good your product is, if you don't have NAFDAC, they will think that you are doing it from a mushroom and it's not standardized. So we need their support. Market access and branding. Market access and branding. As a position Nigerian products in global value chains. It is not that we are not intelligent. It is not that we cannot do certain things. But we are saying that as we are doing them, branding is critical. You see, in marketing, we usually say we buy with our eyes before we buy with our mouth. Your eye will attract you. So what is that eye? The way you package that product. Bekere is not in any way different from the plantain chips. Is it different? It's the branding. Pure water started from tying nylon, ice water, into pure water, into bottled water, branding. So, I tell you guys, as you are working locally, begin to brand globally. Brand globally. Produce locally. They go side by side. Like I've told you, if you cannot position yourself, it's called marketing, positioning. You see, the way you are addressed is the way you are addressed, the way you will be addressed. Is that not what we saw? It is the same thing with our products. The way you package your product will determine who comes near your product. So, branding is a tool to get into that commercial level. Role of, I think I titled this one, action, call to action. There's a call to action. As a role of Nifst, act as a bridge between research, industry, and policy. At least I'm happy that our VP1 and my own mama, Dr. Ishet, they are here. Don't leave these small boys at the mercy of government. Don't leave these small boys at the mercy of NAFDAC. Don't leave them at the mercy of standard organization. You must come as a bridge. Then also, don't leave our professors and our doctors in the institution. Don't leave them operating in that silos. The global market does not operate in silos. It operates in systems. It operates in structures. Nobody cares how good you are until you have proven you're good. So we don't care what research you have done, as long as you don't bring it out to make an impact. You see, the richest people in the Western world are universities and research institutes. How many of you know that it was MIT that called Trump bluff? How many of us know that for Trump, he brought out a policy to strangulate the universities? You cannot admit below a certain percentage of blacks or non-Asians. You must not go beyond this one. What was Trump trying to do? To make sure that he curtails our own movement, our own knowledge into that Western world. It was only MIT, Manchester Institute of Technology, that told him, to hell with your money. We are saying no. Why? Because Manchester Institute of Technology is one institution that has been able to commercialize their technical skills. Commercialize. They have chairs. Industries come to invest in MIT, Harvard. You have chairs. What it doesn't mean that, okay, we are giving you a grant of $250,000 for this year. Do a research into this area. Do a research into this area. So Nifst must come as a bridge and find a way of exposing our professors and our doctors so that our researches will not remain. Innovation. I said Nifst, you must host annual innovation showcase. Annual innovation showcasing linking scientists and investors. So it's not enough that yes, we meet annually like this, but there should be another program where the scientists in our midst, the researchers in our midst, are brought side by side with investors, with the industries. What are the challenges? My prof will tell you that at a time in Cadbury, I was part of that program. They were looking when there was a ban on malt. There was a research was set on how to use sorghum. How to use sorghum. Do you understand? They brought in. Should I call the name of the company? They went somewhere. But what I'm saying is that not a possibility? Who will understand sorghum? Is it the white man in Netherlands that will understand the characteristics of sorghum compared to our own? So it's our responsibility in Nifst to be able to bring this industry to meet with the researchers so that we can provide their need. Research is very expensive, but if we make ourselves available to them, we will do it for them more effectively and at a cheaper cost. Hello? Commercialization. Create a commercialization framework for members' innovation. Create a commercialization network. What do I mean? We go on exhibitions. Is it not so? Where you see countries, they can have 3 days exhibition. And what is that exhibition all about? People who have made research, people who have prototype products, people who have things, they bring them out. Investors come. That's what we do. For instance, in Dubai, there is this agro-food processing that takes place in March, April, and then November every year. Agri-business. They bring in everybody that is important. You have to be in Dubai for that period. Nifst can do such a thing. They bring the manufacturers of the equipment, the facilities, to meet with those who have the ideas. We can do it. They have to serve as a bridge. Pitching and sponsorship. Pitching and sponsorship. I'm still talking, I'm calling Nifst to action. Pitching and, you know, it's not a boast, but some of us, at least in 2 different universities, I have an award for the best graduating students in food science and technology. That's my own way of encouraging them. So, when as a body we can come and say, okay, we talk about Japan, we talk about China. How did they develop to the level they are now? What they simply did was to say that the best graduating students in mechanical engineering, electrical, in every discipline, they gather them together, sponsor them into the Western world. Toyota came out as a product of Mercedes. The students were given the instruction, go and produce a car, learn how to produce a car that will be functionally as good as Mercedes, but at a cheaper rate. That was how Toyota came. It is Japanese they send. Indians did the same thing. How many of us know now that you have more than 4 or 5 different types of Chinese car in Nigeria now? In fact, I think they are planning to have even a factory here. What they have simply done is go to all the Toyotas, study them, do everything, and come. Do it at a cheaper price and begin to sell. Gili Motors, Huando, they come with different names. They are all available now that you can buy for even a cheaper price. So what stops us in food science and technology? To begin to pitch from the university, best graduating students, let's sponsor them out on specific innovation, on specific product development. And at the end of the day, they come back. You see, when I say this topic is about commercializing our skills. So, Nifst is sitting down on a very huge assets. Until we start commercializing those assets, the greatest asset anybody can have is the human intellect. And we have a lot of them, professors, young men, and graduating with flying colors. Those are assets. The question must be, how do we tap into this and commercialize them to begin to make global impact? Advocacy. Advocate for policies that encourage local sourcing, funding, and export support. I don't even know if maybe Nifst is a member or playing any role in this, our export zone, Nigeria Export Council, and all the rest. So, if we are not visible there, how can we encourage our entrepreneurs and our SMEs to have products outside? Or if they go there and they want to kill them and strangulate them with those regulatory policies and all the rest, we leave them at the mercy of nobody. So we must begin to find, we are 49 years for God's sake. Have we seen any organization in this country where a chartered accountant is not a major role, is not playing a major role? Nigeria Bar Association, chartered engineers, and fellows of Nigerians. But what I see us do here is that we are too busy struggling internally, looking for relevance internally, when we should be global players. I go talk next year, make una no bring me. Call to action. To researchers, think beyond the lab. Aim for scalability. Researchers, research institutes, professors, think beyond your laboratory. Aim for scalability, that you should be able to scale, do prototype, commercialize your knowledge, your skill. Industry, invest in local innovations. To the government, enable policies and incentives for commercialization. To Nifst, lead the charge in making Nigerian food technology a global export brand. I repeat, Nifst, be in charge and lead this brand, because we are a brand. The Nigerian food, let it become a product of global impact, a product that can stand out there. It's not that we don't have the technology, it's not that we don't have the technical skills, but branding. For those of you just coming, I have mentioned branding as part of the pathway to globalization. Conclusion. Technical skills are seeds. The technical skills we have, they are seeds. But commercialization is the harvest that feeds the nation. Your technical skill is a seed that you plant. It is when you commercialize it, it becomes the harvest that will feed the nation. As a brought to you by Sylvanus Ogbo Soleta Foods, our services, we deal on virtually any food equipment. I set up factories, management consulting, ISO certification, food product development, training and mentorship. Thank you for listening to me.
A round of applause. More. Thank you so much, sir, doctor. In fact, very impactful. Very impactful. Have you been able to gain one or two things? I picked something here to our great institute. That are we members of Nigeria Sports Promotion Council? So to our elders in the house, please, let's make it possible so that, the facilitator mentioned something here, so that they will not strangulate our members that are exporting, especially the SMEs. Especially the SMEs. Advocate for policies that encourage local sourcing, funding, and export support. So thank you so much, Dr. Sylvanus. And we will need more of this in our next conferences. We need more of your experiences. We want you to share with us. So I want to tell the house that we have certificates for this course, though it's free, but the certificate is by payment. So please, you can make your payment to Nifst accounts. 5,000 naira, you have your certificate and material. Just make your payment to the Nifst accounts, the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, First Bank account, 20,000 55,846. 20,000 55,846, First Bank. And please, the narration should be free lecture certificate. In your narration, just put free lecture certificate. It's 5,000 naira. Once you have that, and you can send teller to this number. You send your teller to this WhatsApp number 070 65 15 46 22. Once you make the payment, scan your teller and send to this number 070 65 15 46 22. Thank you. Do you have anything to say to us, sir? Okay.
If questions, so I can take a couple of questions.
I don't know if to call it a question, but I think you said something in relation to some production or manufacturing hub, where if you don't have the required facility and you have a product idea and you want to leverage on that, or do you have an idea of, because at times with the issue of NAFDAC and some specific type of products that are outside of the category of small, medium, they have the minimum exactly, and where there's scarcity of funds to put such facility in place, can one leverage on some of this hub to bring such product to life and get it registered so it can be pushed to the market?
It's a very good question. I try to be stylish in that area because I don't want to get into trouble. Because me, standing here, I have another 2-3 products I'm going to push through NAFDAC. So, like I said, we will keep fighting, but we will settle one day. He's asking a question. Because I said manufacturing hubs. What are manufacturing hubs? Government can invest. For instance, you have in Lagos. Now, Lagos state government have invested on a hub somewhere around Agege. What is a hub? They create a kind of facility, make water, internet, everything available. So all you do, you come with your own idea. You have the facilities, to process it at a minimal fee. Also, it's also called contract manufacturing. Contract manufacturing is, you have an idea, you can produce a certain product. All you can do is, you can go to a factory, an existing factory, sign an agreement with them. They will process it, and what NAFDAC will require is that they will say, you must be there on the label, produced and packaged by so for so. At that Lagos, I gave an expo, which might still be beneficial to everybody here. I was telling people that, are we listening? If you want to register under NAFDAC, there are different categories. Some of us, if the Coca-Colas are the next two, they belong to their class. You understand? You have the medium industries, they belong to their class. You have the macro and you have the mini. So, the expo I will give to you is that if you want to start, if you cannot get a hub where you can get somebody to manufacture it for you as contract packing, you can also go to NAFDAC under MINI, M-I-N-I. If you go to their platform and check, the conditions there, they are a little bit, it can take you, you can struggle. It's better than you going through macro or going to the SME. For instance, if you have even a 2-bedroom apartment that somebody is not living in, it can fly as a factory under MINI. And it is also assumed that your working staff, they are maximum about 5, and that your turnover is maybe below 25 million, which is the starting point for everybody. So you go under that MINI, it is easier for you to register. The conditions you can easily scale through. As if you go there and say, I'm a SME, small medium scale farmer, or processing. It's a different category. It's a different category. The requirement, then they will list for you. Where is your cloakroom? Where is it facing? Where is your changeover room? Where is it facing? How do you walk from the inside of the factory into the factory floor? What do you have here? It becomes very complex. Very, very complex. So, in order for you not to kill your idea, in order for you, let somebody not strangulate you, let the environment not dry you up, you must think of a leeway. Achebe once said, he said, when the birds learn to fly without perching, the hunter must learn to shoot without missing. So those are ways. Look for somebody who can do contract manufacturing for you. All they will do is that you have an MOU. I am not trying to advertise somebody. Our friend in Agege, he does a lot of contract packing. So for some of this is maybe it's not everything I can say here. You have my number. If you want some of this information, make her not look for Prof trouble. That's how it happens.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Anthony Isekwene from Nifst, Port Harcourt. The Food and Agriculture Organization made a data, and they said that 80% of the food consumed globally is produced by local farmers, smallholder farmers. But one thing is disturbing, and this thing affects just not only me, but every one of us here. And that is the fact that these local farmers are producing this food with their own inputs. Most times they are not getting any support from anywhere. Most times. And the only support that they are adding, or the only externality they're adding to their production, is probably insecticide. This is a herbicide they're using for weeding in their farms. So my question is, like you were saying earlier, why is the cost of food always on the increase? Why is the cost of food on the increase? For example, these herders, they take cows from one place to the other, they consume grass, yet the cost of one cow is almost 1 million naira. Now, going back to my question now, what should we do about this? And then what can Nifst do about this? I don't know if I would have the opportunity to ask this question. It's one of those questions that I wrote down before coming here that I'm going to ask, because it does not only affect me. I know it affects almost everybody. For example, in my village, we process gari. At the end of the day, if you go to the market to buy the gari, it's very expensive. But you know that what the person did was just put cassava stick on the ground, harvest it, and then produce it out. Yet the cost of this gari is expensive. What should we do together? What should Nifst do? And what should be done by the government? If there is anybody that can answer from that aspect. Thank you very much.
I will start from the last part of it. And that is exactly why I am talking. That we scientists, you are asking yourself, why is food expensive? Why would they sell a cow for 1 million? What you call financial literacy is key. And what is financial literacy? I define it simply by saying that you must know how to make money, know how to spend money, know how to invest money, and know how money will work for you. I come again. To be financially literate, know how to make money, know how to spend money. The third one, know how to invest money, and finally, know how to make money work for you. Oga, our technical skills, you say the farmer, you've given an example. The farmer who produced that gari is not living in isolation. Is living in this country. Is living in this country. Do you know that gari, before he will grate it, he will have to go and buy fuel into his generator to power that grating machine, to ferment it for this. Do you understand? Then he will need to come and fry it. The farmer is probably in Abeokuta, and you expect him to deliver that gari to Lagos. You know, go carry him for head like they do in the 40s. So, do you understand? He goes through that process of paying transport. Are you aware now that fuel has just jumped silently, unannounced, from 860 to 920 what? So, do you want that man to run at a loss? So, the first thing he will learn is how to make money. He's not doing that gari on charity. He will add the cost. That is what we call the production chain. From the farm, the cassava that he picks up, from the farm he transports to his factory. He pays the laborers that will peel it. Grating, frying, selling. That is a gap. That's what I'm telling you. That is the opportunity you as a food science and technology had. Because for every value you add, there is an extra charge. Even in the olden days when manna fell from heaven, God instructed the people, after 3 days, you cannot eat it. In other words, food processing must come in for you to eat it. Do you understand? And even at that, they have stopped that manna falling from heaven. So part of your branding, your ability, as we say, pathway to a global impact. For you to make a global impact, you must understand that chain. How to make money, how to spend money. To sell that gari, that's the way it comes. You talk of Malu. Do you know how much it pays to hire that trailer that will move the cattle from Sokoto to Abeokuta village? Do you have an idea? Okay, when you come, you go to learn small. For a parcel, even an envelope, minimum is 5,000 naira in some cities. Talk of when you take a gari, 50 kg. So those are the things. But you see, every challenge is an opportunity. Every challenge is an opportunity. So what you will do at that gari, prices will keep changing. Oh. Before I was born, all things being equal. Things are never going to be equal. Oh. Do you understand? The question is, maybe you should go and read out my book, Entrepreneurship, Surviving and Unleashing Your Potential. How you can, in midst of this. Bros, there are people who are becoming millionaires. There is a young man, he went through one hub in Lagos. It's in Abeokuta. That's where I'm getting my own gari. My product is on gari. That's where I'm getting it from now. I've signed a contract with him now. Do you understand? So it's an opportunity for you. If there are no problems, you will not be challenged. And if you are not challenged, you won't make money. The cattle herdsmen now, they are now corporate farmers. Do you understand? You see them wear agbada and all the rest. It's part of the branding. So he puts his price, having calculated his cost, and it becomes. Then you also, the second part of your question was, how can we solve this problem? Oga, I have said it. Let Nifst as an association not leave us at the mercy of all these agencies. I am saying it, but I'm also aware that they will have their own limitation. So sometimes, what people do, you see why Igbos, sorry to mention, excel in business. How many of us know that the apprenticeship system of the Igbos is now being studied in Harvard University? Do you understand? But we run away from it. Get a mentor. Go under his tutelage. Don't be selfish. Don't say this idea, they will steal it from me. There is no idea that is new on earth here. Nothing you are going to do. That you're processing or this one, you think, I have this idea. If you delay it for 2 days, somebody else will spring it up. Do you understand? So your ability to link up with people. How do I define a mentor? Somebody who has already been where you are aspiring to go to. And that is the case I made for Nifst. That they should begin to mentor people. They should begin, as it were, to channel, the skill, the technical knowledge that some of us are sitting on. We can commercialize it in mentoring people, even if it is for a token. Okay? If you think that education is cheap, try ignorance. So for you to attain certain things, you need to pay a token. Okay? Am I permitted? It's asking for my number. No, 080. For me, if there is no question, I'm done. Oh. 080 348 12860. Can I appeal? Make it available to as many as registered and put in their. It's part of my contribution. It will be, the slides will be available to everybody. 080 348 12860. 860. If there is no other question, I want to hand over.
Sir. A round of applause to Dr. Silvano Sogbo. Thank you, sir. God bless you. You can reach out to secretariats, or reach out to the number I gave you earlier if you want to get in touch with him. And if you need certificates, I don't know if anyone needs certificates. Is there anyone around that needs the certificates? But if you need the certificates, just let us know. Send your money into the account number given earlier and scan the receipt to the number. Or reach out. The account number again, Nifst account number 20,000 55,846. First Bank. Account name Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology. Narration should be free lecture certificate. It's 5,000. And after then, you just scan your receipt to 070 6515 4622. Thank you so much. So we'll see tomorrow again.